That's Mango Walk, a traditional tune from the West Indies, and it sits really nicely on the ukulele in chord melody form. Now I'm going to play the whole thing with my thumb and index finger. My index finger is going to be used when I have a melody on the first or second string, and whenever there's a chord that needs strumming or there's a note on the third or fourth string, I'm going to use my thumb. There's a lot of repetition in this, so let's break it down into little bits. First of all, we've got a little note on its own. Now that first note is the 3rd fret on the first string. That is part of this F chord. So hold down that full F chord. If you've never done this one before and only a 2-finger F, it's the same as your regular F, but you need a note here on the 3rd fret of the A string as well. It's still an F. Try and do that with your ring finger. It might be a bit of a stretch, but we're going to need the little finger in a minute for a higher note. That note is a little what we call pickup measure at the beginning, so it's just 1 beat long. So we'd go, it's in 4/4 time, instead of counting to 4, we'd go 1, 2, 3, and the 4 would be that. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we can strum that chord with my thumb. Then our little finger goes to the 5th fret, and I pluck that with my index finger. Then take off your little finger, back to the 3rd fret. And this little run can be quite tricky to start with, but we're going to be going backwards and forwards a lot between the 1st and the 4th string, thumb and finger. So, then let go of your F chord, just keep your 2nd finger down, but slide it up to the 3rd fret of the G string. Play that one, open 1st string, back to your G string again, open 1st string, open G string. So let's do that really slowly. This is the hardest bit of the whole piece. One more time. Then back to our F, and just try and strum 3 strings, because there's our melody note on the 2nd string, and then play the open 1st string with your index finger a bit later. Then we play the inside 2 strings, the C and E strings, with your thumb on the C and your index finger on the E string, which we're still holding it down, and then this last F is just kind of filling up space. So here we go. Okay, that last little bit, da, 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 will keep coming back, as will this next bit, which kind of echoes that F chord pattern we just had, da, 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 but with a C7 chord. So we go to our regular old C7 chord, strum 3 strings just like we did on the F, then the melody note is on our 1st string, then again back to the 2 inside strings with our thumb and finger, and then a strum. So our right hand is doing exactly the same thing on this bar as it did on the previous bar. Then it goes back to the F again and does the same thing again. But instead of that strum on the end, we have that 3rd fret on the 1st string, and that's going to lead us into the same thing we just did in the 1st bar. So let's get to that point. And then we're back to where we started and we do it again. A bit different here, just the G string on that last one and then an F. And these next 2 Fs are just filling up space and trying to keep the rhythm going. Now that's the main part of the tune, and in fact lots of people just play that bit over and over again. I've put a little variation that I heard on a couple of other arrangements in the 2nd half, but there's so much repetition that you've got 90% of the tune already there. So we'll do the whole first part of the tune all the way down to that F, bum, bum, and the last note of that bar leads us into the next bit. So we won't play that this time round. Let's do it really slowly. That's the first part of the tune done, and this next bit is easier because it doesn't have that fancy run from the beginning. It has a much simpler run, and the rest of it's pretty much the same as what we've done. So from that F that we just got to that finished that section, we go to the open C string 3 times, 2nd fret of the C string, open E string, and then this bit should look very familiar. And this bit, this F is a little bit different. We go 1, 2, 3, 4. So that middle open A string there is twice the length of all the other notes. So that bar is 1, 2, 3, and then we repeat that. And then you can go round as many times as you want. Let's do that second half of the tune. I'll lead into it from that F chord that finished the first half of the tune. Let's play the whole thing through really slowly. 1, 2, 3. It seems tough at first, particularly that introductory bit. But once you've got that under your fingers and you're used to going back and forth and using your 4th string, your high 4th, as a melody note, the rest of it all sits nicely in the chord shapes. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I'll see you again soon. Bye bye.